Welcome to my presentation on psychology in bodybuilding. Here is a brief overview of bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is not a nationally recognized sport. Although it is not very popular in the UK, it is much more popular in the United States. In the competition, there is usually 3 rounds. The pose round, where there can be included front double bicep, back double bicep, lateral spread, front and back. There's also the freestyle round, where competitors are able to choose the positions. And then once the competitors are chosen, the final 2 bodybuilders go for a pose-off. In bodybuilding, you're usually divided into weight classes: lightweight, heavyweight, and also in the middle. Bodybuilding requires diet and training that are extremely physically demanding. Off-season and pre-season is where all the work is put in. There are several risks that are associated with bodybuilding. Dehydration is one of the biggest. In the pre-competition phase, bodybuilders rid themselves of all excess water in the body. This also affects their energy levels. From training so hard and to pushing their muscles to the limit, it is almost impossible sometimes for them to walk to their competition. A big risk is also the use of performance-enhancing drugs. In using these drugs, bodybuilders put their bodies at ultimate risk. In bodybuilding, it causes you to have to make severe lifestyle changes to diet, exercise, and training. Bodybuilders can experience overtraining and burnout. This is where they push their muscles to the ultimate limit to where they cannot function correctly or the way they are supposed to. Along with physical risk, there are psychological risks as well. These physical risks, in turn, change the risk of psychological factors. Although bodybuilding is a male-dominated sport, there are also female bodybuilders. Females are also susceptible to the risks that males are, but also there are more risks when it comes to being a female in this sport. Females are outnumbered by male bodybuilders 1 to 10. The social pressures are associated by not fitting into the norm of a female body and pushing the body past its limits of what it should be. And females are also faced with negative perceptions. These negative perceptions can include stress from the family, or with friends, or even with spouses. In this article found, it shows the negative psychological and physical effects of a female bodybuilder. It gives scientific evidence and backup of what the human body goes through as a female body lifter. Although these risks are present, females still are able to push their bodies to the limit and push their bodies to do what no other body has done. Imagery in bodybuilding can improve muscle strength, or so they say. Researchers have found it difficult to find hard scientific evidence that backs up imagery in bodybuilding. It can both have negative and positive effects. They have found that there is a functional equivalence in using imagery for bodybuilding. It can be both positive and negative, like I said. They have found that although bodybuilding can be negative, you can also use imagery in a positive way to affect your performance and your body growth as a whole. There are several techniques that can help in being successful with imagery and keeping yourself away from the negative side of imagery in bodybuilding. There are several types of imagery in bodybuilding that can help form a positive mindset and a successful career in bodybuilding. Although there are several types of imagery that can be used in bodybuilding, they can all be put together to form a unique bond and whole in bodybuilding for the competitors. Physical imagery is the imagery that is used while bodybuilders are training. It is where the bodybuilders are able to imagine themselves physically pushing themselves to the limit, pushing their muscles past a point where it is comfortable. It is them imagining the lifts and how they are standing or sitting or the techniques that are being used. Environmental imagery is where the bodybuilders are able to imagine either the competition phase or even the training phase. It's where they are able to listen to the music that is played in the gym, or they can imagine how the sound is in the gym or what the population is in the area that they are lifting. It is so that they are able to be comfortable in their environment and perform to the highest that they are able to perform. Then there is task imagery. This is where the performers are imagining the task at hand, what they have before them. So the bodybuilders are seeing themselves actually lifting the weights and performing the techniques that they have learned previously. It is where that they are able to see that they are successful in their lifts and show themselves that it is possible. Timing imagery is where the lifter is visualizing the time that it takes to complete a workout. It is also the time that it takes to complete a set or even an individual lift. The timing that the bodybuilders use is very important because they have to use their body effectively and precisely to not waste enough energy that they need for the rest of their workout or even the competition. Learning imagery can be used in this as well as when they are lifting, recognizing the techniques that are being used and what is happening while they are actually lifting the weights. So they are able to see their body and learn their own body so they know what they can do to help themselves. Emotion imagery is very important in this sport. This sport is so physically demanding, but it is also just as much mentally straining. It is important to pay attention to how you're feeling and what you can feel in the future as you're lifting or even as you're competing. It is important to pay attention to your emotions so that you're able to control and feel what you're supposed to feel in the right moment so that they are able to be successful in lifting the weights. In using perspective imagery, the bodybuilder is able to look at themselves and look at the future as another perspective. You can look at yourself in the first person or the third person. You can see yourself outside of your body performing the lifts as if you were another spectator. While training, it is important to see other things that you might not see for yourself. So this imagery is useful in helping them perform the task at hand from another perspective so they can see certain flaws that they may not usually see. Goal setting imagery is very important. Using goals that are specific and measurable and seeing yourself reaching those goals as if you were going to already. In goal setting, it is important to keep these goals attainable, but pushing yourself also to the limit. But in goal setting imagery, it is where you're seeing yourself actually performing the goal and reaching your goal. Is it helpful to help yourself push yourself to a point where you're able to be successful? Concentration imagery boils down to focus. It's showing that yourself and seeing yourself focused and in the zone while competing. Showing off those certain poses not only takes physical strength, but it also takes focus and seeing yourself being focused in that competition. In this article reference, it shows that imagery can be used positively in the sport, but it can easily take a wrong turn. Body image is something that's very difficult to handle in this sport because that's what it's all about. It's all about looking the best and showing off your body to the world. So it is difficult to have a positive body image about yourself when you are competing against other people as well that have just as great bodies. And using the techniques in the past slide, bodybuilders are able to go past this negative part of imagery. And here are my references. Thank you for listening to this presentation.